Okay, today we have a class which has to do with commercial real estate. We're not doing sales today, we're basically doing leasing. Leasing is a huge portion of our commission. We and the commercial realtors, by the way, when I say we, I mean realtors. Realtors have a license by the state of Florida, DBPR, Division of Real Estate, and the Real Estate Commission, okay? We only need one license. That license entitles you guys to sell what? Residential, commercial real estate, leasing, residential, commercial real estate. But what do you guys basically need for the commercial world? Well, you need training, knowledge, experience. And the experience comes with hands-on. I think that one of the best ways of actually learning something is just getting in there, getting your feet wet, and just asking questions, and definitely watching these classes here. So today, we're going to be presenting you guys a basic class, which is basically all that you really need. We'll do a second class coming up, and that one's going to be more an advanced class. So we'll talk more about financials. We'll talk about nets, proceeds, and so forth, budgets and expenses and so forth. But today, we're going to give you guys the basics to start making a lot of money. Now, before we get into how you are going to respond or ask questions or write up letter of intents or leases and things like that, you guys need to know that you must advertise for it. Because if you guys only advertise, I only do residential sales, then someone who's looking at selling a business, leasing a business, when they go into your social media, guess what they're not going to do? They're not going to give you the listing. Why? Because you're not a commercial realtor. Well, who says you're not? You are. You've got the license. What you need now is the knowledge and the experience, correct? But you must advertise for it. I do commercial real estate sales. I do leasing. Bring a lot of our properties that Partnership Realty's got, put them up there. I've got this new lease. I've got this new sale. Show them the properties that Partnership Realty's got. And we have what? Last time I checked, a little under 500 units. I mean, 500 of our own listings. You guys can advertise all of them. When I mean you guys, I'm talking about Partnership Realty, realtors, okay? Advertise them. Let the world know, because see, when I'm talking the world, people are watching this from overseas, okay? And they're looking at maybe opening up a restaurant in Brickell. I can't tell you how many leases and how many purchases our realtors have sold in Brickell Avenue, and not Key Biscayne, but South Beach, in Fort Lauderdale, everywhere here in West Palm Beach, okay? But you have to advertise for it. If not, they'll never know that you do commercial real estate. So I want to show you guys first, in the MLS, where do you find commercial real estate? So let's go there first, and then we'll get into the actual presentation itself. So this is your dashboard in the MLS, okay? So now some of you guys have Matrix and others have Form Simplicity. Basically the same thing, different format. But let's just go into Form Simplicity here. And while it's opening up, so I'm going to do a quick search right here. Now you guys know how to create these shortcuts, right? Yeah. Everybody knows how to create a shortcut? I don't have to go over it? Perfect. So we have shortcuts here. If not, everything's right here under menu. And this is where we create. Everything that's highlighted turns into a shortcut up there. If you unclick it, see how it says quick search? It goes away. It's gone. But if I highlight it again, it's right back. That's for people like me that I'm lazy. I don't want to do two steps. I just want to go right in there. So quick search. So when you go in there, see up here on this, your right-hand corner, see it says business right here? You can click on this. So you've got residential, if we're looking for residential, real estate. If not, we're going to look for residential income. That's commercial as well too. Residential income means multifamilies that you guys are renting out. It could be anywhere from a duplex to a fiveplex to 10 units, 30 units, more, 50 units. Okay, so that's commercial real estate. So residential income is also considered commercial real estate. Land, even though land is vacant land, it's still commercial real estate, because I've got realtors right now that are sitting in this classroom that she rents out I mean, large portions of land to major, car dealerships, rental enterprises, that they have an overflow of automobiles and they need a place to rent them. So they do leases sometimes for 5-10 years, but they rent them there. Now, let me tell you guys something. That's huge commissions, because these major companies that rent out these places, they pay huge money for that. And it's one of the easiest sales sales in the world, because you're going to go in there, they're going to look at the land, they're going to secure it, they're going to put everything up, they're going to put the cameras up, they're going to put the fencing up, security and everything, and they're going to rent out the land. Wow. And if they do a 5-year lease, 10-year lease, 20-year lease, 30-year lease, are you kidding me? Think about your commission. Huge. We'll go over that in a little bit. So land is also considered commercial. Nurseries, I mean, there's so much you do. Sometimes they park, really big trucks like, those 18-wheelers or dump trucks and things like that. Again, people are looking for, things like that. So again, that's considered. Now, business. Business means retail. Business means retail. So it could be a real estate office. It could be an insurance agency. It could be a medical office. It could be a beauty salon, barbershop, a restaurant. So many different things. So this is where you go here. And now for business. Now we're going to come here to commercial and industrial. And we're going to go over all this today in a couple of minutes, okay? But I just want to show you guys in the MLS where it's at. And then you're going to do your search. And every time you click on it, it's going to tell you how many are available. See, there's 2902 here available under commercial industrial. So we'll go over that in just a bit. So let's go down here, and we have, basically, that's about it right there. So, but you guys know where to find it now in the MLS. You just come here on the upper right-hand corner and just click on this, and you guys are going to find whatever you're looking for. Business, whatever you're looking for, it's going to be right here. A lot of people are looking for income-producing properties and so forth. So let's come here now and start out with our grand presentation. So let's open this up. All right. So again, I'm Ismael Alvarez with Partnership Realty, and I am going to be giving you guys a basic commercial leasing only, not sales class. So where do I find these properties? I get these questions asked all the time. Ismael, I have someone that's looking for a warehouse. I've got someone that's looking for a cabinet shop, granite shop. They want to open a mechanic shop. They want to open up, there's so many different type of business. Now, what's the difference between a warehouse and a public storage? Well, you can't really run a business out of public storage. Why? Because they're not going to let you get a local licensing. So you need an occupational licensing. Sometimes you need a state license as well, too. So in the public storage, you can only store things in there, but you cannot get a commercial, occupational licensing. So a warehouse, light industrial, office warehouses, things like that will work, okay? Where do we find it? Well, number one, I showed you guys in the MLS. That's one place, okay? The second one is called LoopNet, and we're going to go over all this in just a few minutes. And then you've got Crexy.com, and then you've got my favorite one, Drive-By, okay? This is you guys having to do the legwork. Here's the difference between putting a property, let's say you get a listing. The MLS requirements are within 2 days when we get a listing, we need to put it in the MLS. Well, commercial real estate, you don't, okay? Now, people put it in there because if I give you a property to lease from me, I want full exposure. I want you to put it everywhere so it'll be seen everywhere. But some brokers won't do it. So you have to drive by, you'll see the big sign, and you're going to have to get off. You're going to ask them. One of the first questions you're going to ask them is, do you work with brokerage? Then the second question I think I'm going to ask you, if you are the leasing agent over there, is how much do you pay? Because if you tell me that you don't pay anything, well, nice to meet you. Well, not really. I'm going to maybe present you an offer. I might present you an offer that, the landlord might accept it, okay? But they always work with brokers, but you want to know what commission and how you're going to get paid. So this is when you go with the drive-bys, okay? So honestly, besides this, there's really not other areas. There is a bunch of little search engines, on Google or Yahoo or any of those areas that you go into, but they're basically private, and there's not that many. These are the biggest ones. I think with these 4 here, you're going to find it. You're going to find it. You're going to find it. And definitely advertise towards it too. Get permission to see if you can get, and advertise their units. So start promoting it through your social media. It's just going to grow your commercial, your commercial, yes. Boy, I'm stuck with words today, aren't I? I'm doing really well here. Just your commercial side of the real, as being a realtor, that you also do commercial real estate, okay? So local MLS, as I showed you guys here already, this is where you go, right there. And then where do you change it? Right here. So that one's simple. And this is something that I think that you guys, especially when you're getting into commercial real estate, this is something that you guys need to look at on a daily basis and see what's going on, and from different counties and so forth. All right, LoopNet. LoopNet is fantastic. LoopNet is almost like an MLS. It's everywhere. And you're going to find whatever you want. So you're going to sign up, you're going to register with them, and they're going to give you 2 different types of options. One, that you are a paying customer, okay? They say that you get more benefits. I can't answer on that one. I'll let you guys make your own decisions on that one there, okay? The other one is, it's a free one. So you guys make your own choices and your own decision whether you want to become a paying customer or you don't. But LoopNet is phenomenal to find properties, because a lot of commercial realtors, including myself, I do advertise through everywhere. I advertise in MLS and I advertise in LoopNet, both of them. Because my job is to lease this property out as quickly as possible for my clients, so he or she knows, that I am the right proper realtor for them, okay? So I want that exposure. LoopNet is phenomenal. You guys have it here. Now remember, this class that you guys are watching, you can go to priclasses.com. It's going to be recorded again, so if it's a lot that you're listening to and you're only capturing a little bit, you can go back, watch this class maybe 3, 4, 5 times until you feel very comfortable with it, So LoopNet is a phenomenal place to go, especially to find the properties, and again, to promote your properties and put them in there. Here is another great place as well too. There's another site that is phenomenal. I think they're really good. You're going to find a lot of the units that you're looking for. Plus, you guys can advertise through them as well too. So here's the third one that we were talking about, and it's a quick and easy to use. You want to log in. There's no fee or anything like that, but you are going to be able to find what's available that sometimes, well, a lot of times it's not in your MLS. You won't find it. You're only going to find it through CraigSeaHere.com or through LoopNet.com.
¿Esas 2 páginas sirven para Miami también?
This is all over the United States. This is there in Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Orlando, everywhere, anywhere you go. Okay? Now, this is my favorite one, guys. Why? Because I get to go and have lunch somewhere or stop somewhere like that, okay? While I'm driving by, okay? We want to make it a nice day of it, I'm bored as heck, driving around, looking at these places, but you get to go to nice restaurants. Stop somewhere, have lunch or something like that, or breakfast, cup of coffee, I don't know. But here you are, you're driving by, because again, as I mentioned to you already, a lot of realtors, they will not advertise it. And I'm not going to tell you why. You can kind of figure that one out on your own, They want the drive-bys. So not only do realtors drive by, who else drives by? Customers. Thank you. Not a bad deal, right? You already got the listing. Who do you want? The tenant. All right, so we're not going to go deep into that one. but it's a bad joke anyway. So definitely drive by. What are the questions you're going to ask? We're going to get into that. You know, first of all, I want to make sure that you do work with cooperating brokers, with us, okay, with other brokerage firms, and then I want to find out the commissions. Because if they don't pay commissions or they pay a flat fee, I might not be too keen to want to, lease out your place, you know. I mean, unless my client really, really wants it and goes, that is the perfect location, I want it, and then client comes first. I don't care if they pay me $300, but guess what? I help the client out enormously. So if I got $300 paid as a flat commission, it doesn't matter. Client comes first, always in my book, or in our book, okay? But I've never seen, yes I have, I'm totally throwing you off. There's areas of North Florida, that's why I don't live in North Florida, guys. I live here in South Florida because we're a little bit more conscientious and we're a little bit more, nicer with other, realtors and so forth. Because there's a lot of areas up in North Florida, they only pay you flat fees. You bring your client in and you walk away with $125. Yay! I am really going to go far with that $125, right? Are you kidding me? After I pay the brokerage firm $50 or $75 or whatever, you walk away with $25. You spent more of that on gas. I'm not even going to go there, okay? Great cities. I love going to those cities for other things. Dining. I love going there for entertainment. And there's so much more stuff that they've got. But it's certainly not leasing. And that's why I'm not over there. The ones that are watching, okay? You guys need to be more fair with the realtors and help everybody out. It should be equal, I think, in my book. That's just my book. Okay. What should you guys know about commercial leasing? Okay. The base rate. What is the base rate? The base rate is exactly what the tenant, the landlord or the management company or the shopping center wants per the unit. So the space itself could be an example of, let's say, 300 feet wide by 200 feet in depth. Okay, so the base rate, and we're going to go over that in a couple of minutes, that's where we get paid by. So we get paid the commission on the base rate. Now the base rate is not the only fee that is being charged here, but the base rate, we must know it. So when we go in there, we want to know what the base rate is, okay? Now you've got another extra fee, additional fee, okay? And it's called a triple net, okay? What is that? Property taxes, maintenance, and insurance. Now that sometimes can range anywhere from $3 up to $30 to $60 depending on very high-end places, okay? Very high-end places. I mean, we're talking security, we're talking beautiful buildings, maintenance is really expensive, and insurance and so forth. So that's called a triple net. CAM. What is CAM? Common Area Maintenance. That is also a add-on to what? The base rate. So it's just not the base rate, guys. There's a lot of other fees that are involved, okay? And then we're going to sum it all up in a little bit, but you got the CAM. So you want to know what the base rate is, and then you want to ask them, sir, what is the CAM? Or ma'am, what is the CAM? You know? So you want to find out what the common area maintenance is. And they can tell you it's $4, $8, $6, you know, a square foot as well too, okay? Taxes. After the base rate, after the CAM, there's Florida sales tax, internal revenue sales tax that we have to pay, okay? So we have to calculate, and right now, Florida revenue sales tax is 5.5% interest rates. So it's a little bit lower than the regular sales tax, correct? When we go out shopping, so it's 5.5%. But something else that we're going to talk about in a couple of minutes is that every county also has a sales tax as well too. So we are going to use as an example today Palm Beach County. So Palm Beach County's got 1%. So when you add in 5.5% for Florida sales tax and Palm Beach County of 1%, it's really what, 6.5% that we have to include into that. Okay? So these are all questions, not that you must ask the listing agent, because if you ask the listing agent that, they're gonna say, what? You're a commercial realtor and you don't know what the Florida revenue tax is? You don't know what the county tax is? So those are the wrong questions to ask a listing agent. What are the right questions to ask a listing agent? What's the base rate? What's the triple net? What's the CAM? Okay, those are the questions to ask. You guys need to know what the county tax is per every. Dade's got his own different county tax. St. Lucie, Broward, Palm Beach County, Martin County, Lee County, I go on, Osceola County, they all have different county taxes, okay? Other things that you guys need to know. Well, here, like I said before I get into other things, we can sum all this up into one of my favorite words is called an all-in. But you guys don't ever negotiate, okay, especially in front of your client with the listing agent. And the listing agent doesn't want you to negotiate with them. I know if I'm a listing agent, I wouldn't want you to start negotiating with me. You can ask questions, I'll answer it. You guys go back to your office, think about it, and then send me what's called an LOI, letter of intent. We'll go over it in a little bit, okay? But let's not negotiate it right now because really we don't have anything in writing. And I think we're really wasting our time right there. Just ask questions, go back, make sure that your client is comfortable with the base rate, the CAM, the location, you know, and the other questions that we're going to ask. But you could always offer what's called all-in. All-in means that I'm going to pay X amount of dollars per month, and everything's going to be included in there. Base rate, CAM, and taxes. And we're going to go over into that in details in just a couple of minutes, okay? But right now, I'm just giving you guys an overview on everything like that. So you guys are going to negotiate with either a landlord, you know, a shopping center, a management company, and so forth. You know, so there's different type of agencies that they, you know, you'll never talk to the. In some cases, you won't talk to the owner. You'll talk to the listing agent, a management company again, or whoever's handling it right there. Someone who's assigned to show the places and negotiate it. Parking. It's really important that you guys ask about parking. This is extremely important because some locations, and I've been to them, they're huge. They're huge, and they're almost like malls. They've got so many open parking spaces, and when you go to find out, they're only going to assign you 4 parking spaces per unit. Are you kidding me? Are you serious? What if you've got 4 employees and a beauty salon? Let's just use a beauty salon for example. You've got 4, techs in there, and you've got 4 clients coming in. That means that I'm violating, the rules of the shopping center. So I want to know: are they assigned? Are they, limited, or are they open? I like open. First come, first serve. There are no assigned parking spaces. But do you guys know how important this question is? You guys have no. All of these are important, but this is really important right here. You want to know if there are any assigned, restricted. I like open parking spaces. So whoever comes in, also, hours of operation. You want to know: are there any limitations? Can someone come in at 11 o'clock at night? Can someone come in on Saturday or Sunday? You need to find out all these things. So these are questions that you're going to be asking whoever the representative is at that point, and you're going to be jotting all that down. So then you go back with your client, and guess what? We discuss it. We discuss it, and then we'll go over. Commission, as you can see here. Boy, that's a big one on me. I think I've mentioned commission today, like what, how many times? 18 times? I think I have. Or at least in my head, I think it's 18 times. Because we work for a living, and I want to know what the commission is, definitely, okay? Commission renewals, another question to ask, okay? So if I come to you I want to, another question, do you guys pay commission renewals? So some leases, they pay you every 12 months. Some they'll pay you for the full term. We'll go over it in a minute, okay? And some, when they renew, I want to know that when my client renews, that I get my commission paid all over again. So we're going to go over all of that. So these are basic, important questions that you guys need to know and you guys must ask, okay? Don't get into financials. Don't get into anything like that. Come to see me. At that point, if you're going into a really big deal or something like that, come to see me. Most of the places that you guys are going to be renting, I mean, this is totally coming out wrong, because I've got realtors of ours that rent and sell major, huge places, okay? But they'd come to see me. Today, like I said, it's a basic class, all right? So for basic class, if you're renting out 3,000, 5,000, 10,000 square feet, you guys can do that on your own. It's so simple. But you guys can call me though. Yeah.
Yo hice una renta comercial hace ya, creo que va a ser 2 años. Por ejemplo, si el contrato dice que es por 2 o 3 años, o sea que puede ser hasta 5 años. ¿Tengo que esperar entonces los 2 años para el commission renewal? Or...
It's a good question. Okay, so her question is, did you do a 2-year lease or 3-year lease? How long? Was it a 2-year lease? Okay, so let's say it was a 2-year lease, for example. Okay, here's the thing. At the end of the 2 years, first of all, the lease itself must state that you will get paid again at the end of the 2 years. The only way that you're not going to get paid is if your tenant moves out. Then you're certainly not entitled to get paid. But if your tenant is still there, and I've known tenants that have been there for 17 years, 27 years, why do you think I love commercial real estate? Now do at least one commercial deal per month. And I used to advertise for this, and I don't mean to bounce off of your question, okay? I'll go back to it for a minute. But I just want to show you how much I love commercial real estate. I think I had, when I first started, I had a total of about 54 benches. Now, the bus benches? The more benches you get, the more they reduce the rate, okay? So I started out with about 10 or 12, commercial realtor, Ismael Alvarez, partnership realty, you got to put that in, that's a blind ad. And, people are driving by, they see you every day at the stop sign. Try to get the good ones, not one that's in the middle of the street that they're going 70 miles an hour. They're not going to see you. They're truly not going to see you unless there's an accident, or something like that, and you're backed up there. And then the last thing you're thinking about is, oh, look, Ishmael's a commercial. No, you're angry. Oh, I got to get home. I got to go to work. I don't know what the thing is. But try to get one at a stop sign, at a red light, just some place like that. So I eventually had 54 bus benches, okay? And as you get more, guess what happens? The rate gets reduced and reduced and reduced and reduced. And so I love doing at least 2 to 3. I've got an appointment. As soon as I get done with you guys, I've got an appointment with another commercial. It's a retail warehouse that I'll be renting out. Here's to answer your question. If I do the 2 to 3 of those per month, okay, every single month, and as long as I've been doing real estate, can you imagine how that accumulates? And every single year in July, I get a check in the mail, but you have to create an invoice. We'll give you a spreadsheet that we've got, and you're going to have all the information in there. The date it was rented out, to who it was rented out, the amount, the name of the client, the property address, when the renewal is, the payment, everything. So now you'll be following it up, and you do have to send an invoice to the listing agent or the management company. But if you don't send an invoice over there, they're not going to pay you. They're not going to go, oh, you know what? Let's pay Ishmael out. They forgot who you were. So you have to be on top of what you're doing. And then we've got spreadsheets here that we'll give you. Everything is documented perfectly, so you'll know when it's due. And then a month prior, you will send an invoice. You'll get the check. But guess what? What did you do there? Nothing. And especially if you have 4 or 5 or 6 of those per month, are you kidding me? Figure out the amount of money that you're going to get, the amount of money you're going to get. That's free money right there. So listen to this. That alone, that check alone is going to pay all your bills, well, depending on your lifestyle, okay? But it should pay every single bill and then leave you some to go into your savings or whatever you want. Now, anything thereafter is free money. If you do a rental, that's going to go straight into your checking, savings, investments. If you do a sell, where's it going to go? Checking, saving, investments, or a new car. If you do anything that you do, just commercial leasing with renewals, it is phenomenal. I love it. And I try to do every single month, at least 3 to 4 per month. And imagine accumulating that month after month, year after year. Is it important to do? Yeah. Do you have to work for it? Just like anything else in the world. You've got to work for it. But it's not like really hard work. Yeah. So commercial renewals, we'll get into it in a little bit here. Okay. What are the different types of use? The different types of use, business use. Because this is pure business. Commercial is business. Okay. So we've got retail space. Retail space means it could be a clothing store. It could be a barber shop. It could be a dollar store. It could be, oh my God, there's so many things, you know, restaurant. All of that the public walks in is retail. That the public walks in. It's retail, okay? So there are many, many examples. Daycares, very popular. Very, very popular. If you start helping out, there are so many churches. Oh my God, the demand for a church is huge. It's huge. You know, it's huge. And once you learn it, one day, I should write a note down that we are going to do a class just on how to help a church find a location and what the requirements at. And you don't even need to go to the city to find out if a church is allowed in that neighborhood or not. You as a realtor need to know these things because that's why we are licensed by DBPR. We're professionals. We are supposed to know all these things. So we don't need to go and find out. We know it off the bat. But how do we know these things? By what you guys are doing, and thank you, the ones that are watching. You guys are being educated in your field, in your line of work. So you could do what? Help your clients, help the public, help the community. But if you don't watch these classes, you don't come into these classes, you're not going to have very little knowledge on this great. Being a realtor is a blessing, guys. You know, real estate. Last night, here, a quick story, and I've got a gazillion stories. I went to pick up lunch, and I met, I saw a lady and her husband. And this lady's been a realtor for like 43 years. The husband's already retired, but the wife can't retire. So I was talking to him while they were having dinner over there at the restaurant, and she says, and the husband says, she can't retire. Because not only are her clients from before calling her up, we want you to sell our house. Oh, my son, my grandson, you know, so what are you going to do? And let me tell you guys something. I love real estate because real estate, one of the things that every single doctor ever tells you, guys, do exercise. Healthy body, healthy mind. The worst thing that you can do at a later age is what? Sit in a rocking chair. Oh my God, and deteriorate. Not only deteriorate your physical body, but your mind. Productive mind, productive. So no, I love real estate because real estate has no age restriction whatsoever. And you're doing great things, you know, and you're helping people. I don't know. We love it. And we get paid well. Back into the commission again. I think that's the 19th time I mentioned it, right? So retail space, industrial. Industrial is commercial warehouses. Could be a cabinetry shop. It could be a granite shop. It could be an electrical AC company. Does that make sense? Electrical AC company? I think. Well, in case they have both. They probably can have both. Okay, so it could be an electrical company or it could be an AC company. It could be a landscaping company that they need, you know, they need the place to store their you know, all their trailers and stuff like that. So industrial is something to that nature. Light industrial. What is light industrial? Have you guys seen these office warehouses? Very popular. So you've got the office in the front. So you're selling in the front. You're selling in the front. For example, let's say kitchen cabinets. So you've got a very nice display of all the kitchen cabinets. Lights. You know, there are some fancy lights, chandeliers, and so forth, all in the front. And you've got the back where it's the warehouse where everything is being stored at. So that is retail, and it's also wholesale. So those office warehouses are very, very, very in demand. Very in demand, and very popular, by the way, too. Okay? Going back to residential income, that could be apartment buildings. Again, anywhere from 5 units to 10 units to 50 units. It's commercial. It's commercial. Financing is different. Everything about it is different, okay? Land, like we mentioned before. I've got a realtor right now sitting in this classroom that she is a phenomenal monster with this one. She could be teaching this class. She's an expert at this here, okay? Huge portions of land to major agencies. When we're talking major agencies, okay? That these people pay big money to park these very expensive automobiles that are worth $250,000, $150,000 to $500,000 there. Now, do you think they pay well? Can you imagine if you're the realtor, you know, leasing that space out? Yeah, I'll be a happy camper. Nice commission on that one there again too, huh? So again, it could be, you know, anywhere from a nursery to parking trucks to parking cars to many different things. So land is also considered. Mixed use. Now, mixed use is a sort of a very popular trend right now. I mean everywhere, especially in South Florida. No, I'm lying. I was just up in Nashville. Everywhere. New York, everywhere, anywhere you go. Okay? So you've got at the bottom, the actual, you know, open, it could be a restaurant, it could be a clothing store, but then you've got, you know, living quarters upstairs. So you got apartment buildings upstairs. So that's mixed use. So all of this is what? Commercial real estate, okay? Any questions on this here? Okay. Now let's get into the fancy terminologies of base rate, what I told you guys that we were going to talk about. So the base rate, depending if it's a warehouse, if it's a, obviously warehouses are more inexpensive because they're truly nothing more than just, you know, concrete floors, and I mean, they might have ramps in it. You need to find out as well too, when you're renting a warehouse, is there space where a tractor trailer can come in and back up and unload the merchandise or load the merchandise? We need to know that. Can the tractor trailer turn back out, I mean, or turn around? Very, very important that you guys need to know this thing, okay? Now, warehouses obviously are more inexpensive because you don't need a lot, you know, to build out on a warehouse. But they can start anywhere from $8 a square foot to $10. I mean, this can get up to $60. This can get up to $160, depending on where we're at. We can be in Brickell. We can be up in New York. We can be up in Nashville. We can be up in Atlanta. I can go on and on, different places that you will not be paying $14 a square foot. You know, but then the demand is huge on those right there, you know. So how do we figure out what the base rate is, okay? What's the payment going to be on the base rate? So let's just use this green box here as our space, our office space that we're renting out, our warehouse that we're renting out, whatever it is. So let's say it's got 150 foot in depth, right? By 75 feet width. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the 150 feet by 75 feet. We've got 11,250 square feet, right? Now, depending on the base rate, now this is what you guys get paid on. You guys are not going to get paid on the taxes. You're not going to get paid on the CAM. You're not going to get paid on the, you know, county.
Question.
Mm-hmm.
Does an agent get paid on an escalation clause year after year?
Absolutely. We're going to talk about escalation clause in just a quick sec.
But
And
what if
yep,
you negotiate that so the owner doesn't?
everything's negotiable in real estate. We know that. Everything's totally negotiable. Yeah, so we'll talk about escalation clauses in a minute. And the answer to your question, Yvette, is yes, we do. If the base rate went up, then I just got an increase in payment. you know, and that's normal. We'll talk about this. You guys will understand escalation in just a couple of minutes. So now, here we are, going back here. We have 11,250 square feet, all right? But let's just use like $8 a base rate. Let's just use that one. $8 could be any little location, like a small little strip. Now, what's a strip? A strip could mean not a shopping center, not a mall, okay? We're talking, you know, maybe that there might be just 6 units there, 12 units, small, something small, okay? It could be, now it depends where it's at. Everything is location, 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 all right? Because you can have a small little strip. You can have a small little strip in a very highly demanded area, and it's certainly not going to be $8 a square foot. That I will promise you. But let's just use an example today as $8 a square foot in an average community, okay? So we're going to take 11,250 and multiply that by $8 a square foot, and that's going to give us a $90,000 a year payment. Okay, so that's what your client is going to pay per year. It's $90,000. So we got to take that $90,000 and divide that by how many months there are in a year? 12 months. So that's going to give us $7,500 per month. That is the base rate, okay, per month. Now, that base rate, there are 2 ways of paying you guys, all right? When we're talking, again, a small little strip, you know, when the landlord, let's just use me as a landlord, and if I get first, last, and security, I can't pay you guys a huge commission of $20,000, $30,000 because, are you kidding me? All I got was $12,000, $15,000, if that, or $20,000, and I can't pay $30,000 or $40,000. So what do I do with you guys? I pay you on every 12 months. Every 12 months, you guys will get paid whatever your commission is. And some cases, in this case here, it's $7,500 per month, right? But what if there's two realtors in there? So that $7,500 gets divided by 2. So you'll get your portion every 12 months, and the listing agent will get his portion every 12 months. But what do you guys have to do in order to get that, your portion of the commission? You have to create a what? An invoice, like at least a month before or 3 weeks before, and send it in so they can order the check. And who are you going to send it to? You're going to send it to the listing agent. Whoever the listing agent is, that's who you guys are going to send it to. But if there wasn't a listing agent, who are you going to send it to? The management company. If there wasn't a management company, you're going to send it to the landlord. Whoever the person is that helped you, the representative.
It gets processed the same way as when the new check.
Yeah, every 12 months. I'm going to be honest with you. Again, there's 2 ways of getting paid. One, the full term, the full amount, which we'll go over in a couple of minutes, or on a monthly basis. Me personally, this is just my opinion only, I like getting paid every year. You know why? Because if I get that money all in one lump sum, it's spent. I already know where I'm going to spend it at. I already know what I'm going to buy, and then it's gone. But every month, if I get it, and I've got 5 or 6 or 12 deals that I did going back 4 years, 5 years, imagine going back 12 years, 20 years. Do you know how many every single January, February, are you kidding me? June, July, August, you know the paycheck? You can just live off of that alone. Just off of that alone, and keep doing commercial real estate. You don't even need to sell a house, which I don't recommend. I recommend selling houses, okay? Investments, and doing everything. But just that paycheck alone, you know, it's unbelievable. As long as your tenant is still there and your lease states that you are entitled to get paid every 12 months, I love it every 12 months. I love it. So, something you guys got to consider here. The monthly base rate is $7,500, okay, plus CAM. Now, you guys remember what CAM is, right? Common Area Maintenance, okay? So it's not just the base rate that your client's going to pay per month. It's the CAM as well, too, so we have to add that in. There's other things that we have to add in, but then we'll all sum it all up as well, too, because there's so many different ways of actually negotiating this, and you guys are going to get the basics of knowing how to negotiate it. So let's talk about CAM. This is a shared expense. This is what the shopping center, the strip, the mall, wherever it's at, this is what it costs them per month to maintain the place beautiful, looking to its finest, okay? And keeping the upkeep on it as well too. Did you like that, keeping the upkeep? That sound good. So in many cases, it can start out at $3 a square foot, 6, 12, 30, etc. It can go up and up and up depending on the location, okay? So now we have to consider, we've already did the base rate, correct? We already know it's $7,500 per month. So now let's do the CAM. So if the CAM, and I'm just going to use as an example $3, we're going to multiply that by the square footage. What was the square footage of the location? 11,250. That gives you a $33,750 expense per year. You guys have to do the same math. It's very simple. Take the $33,750, divide that by 12 months, and it gives you $28,1250 per month, correct? So what do we have to do now? Because we have to give proper information and good information to our clients. So if the base rate is $7,500 per month and the CAM is $28,1250, now we have a total monthly payment of $10,312.50. Now, do you guys think that we're done there? Absolutely not. There's still more. Okay? There's still more to add on to it. And this is stuff that you guys need to know. Because if not, at the time that the lease comes up, your client is going to be in total shock with other fees involved that you, the realtor, didn't disclose it. And this is something you guys should know. So you guys will know it after this class, and you can watch this class multiple times afterwards. So any questions on the CAM here, which could also be triple net?
Okay.
Same thing.
My question.
Triple net, CAM, same thing. Remember?
I have a question. The slide did say property sales tax.
Yeah, we're going to go there.
Under triple net though.
There's two property sales tax.
Right.
You've got the county tax, then you've got internal revenue tax as well too. Not internal revenue, I came out wrong. Florida revenue, whatever state you're at. Florida revenue, internal revenue, guys, two separate worlds, correct? Two separate worlds. That's the taxes that we pay. You know, that's the Florida revenue tax.
So the owner of the property
Will share the property taxes divided by how many units there are. And let's say there's 50 units divided by, and then at the end of the year, they're going to send you an invoice. So let's say that we're paying $10,312.50. And let's say that the property taxes per unit is $1,250. So they're going to add the $1,250 in January because the taxes come out, what, in November? So they might pay it in December. So that might give you a chance because it's the holidays. So they'll bill you in January, the latest February.
So that doesn't get calculated in your monthly.
Yes, it does. We're going to get there. We're going to
And
get
it's called property sales tax, not
revenue.
property tax?
Revenue taxes.
Revenue tax.
Revenue taxes. No, hold on. We're talking two different type of tax. Let me get to it. I'm almost there.
Okay.
I'm almost there. Let me get to it. I'm almost there. Okay. I'm walking you one step at a time, and then we're going to add in the rest, and then it'll make a heck of a lot of sense. Because if I start talking about that now, I'm just going to throw everybody off. So let's just stick right now with the base rate, which you must know, and the CAM, which is also the triple net. Correct? Same thing. All right. So we know that we have a total of $10,312.50. But now we need to add in what Yvette is talking about. Obviously, you've got experience in this here. You do. And you're just bringing it in. You're bringing it in. I just want to bring it into our realtors that are just starting out, okay, that have never heard or seen this before. And I want to give it to them at one single step at a time, and we'll gradually get to it. Okay. So here we are again. And this is your question right here. Here we are again. We've got the base rate of 7,500 square feet. Square feet, did you like that? 7,500 per month, okay, the monthly rate. And we got the CAM at $28,1250 for a total of $10,312.50. But now, guys, we must add in the internal, not the internal, but the Florida revenue, because we're in Florida here. If we're in another state, we need to figure out, first of all, we have to have a multiple license. We have a license in whatever state we're at. So we need to find out what the revenue taxes are at that state. But here, we're in Florida. So it's 5.5%. But it doesn't stop there, because as I mentioned already to you once before already, okay, every single county also has a sales tax. Palm Beach County's got 1%. Dade County's got a different one. You need to find out. It's really easy. You call up the property tax collector, ask them the question, find out what the tax is, and then you'll know it, okay? We already know that the state of Florida is 5.5. So here in Palm Beach County, it's what, 1%? So truly, you guys have to charge, or the shopping center is going to charge 6.5%, okay, to the $10,312.50. So that comes out to what? $670.31. So now the true monthly payment is $10,982.81. That is the invoice that your client is going to receive, whether email or through regular mail, and that's going to be their payment. But now let's go back to your question. You're talking about property taxes. This right here was county taxes and Florida revenue. What is property taxes? You know, on homes, there's property taxes. Well, commercial buildings also have it. So they've got property taxes, and they also have insurance. They also have both. So they can either take that amount and divide it by how many units there are in that shopping center, and then they're going to figure out your portion, and you're going to get that billed once a year. Once a year. Now, I'm not saying that all centers do this. Every single center is completely different. But are these questions that you guys must ask? Yes, they are. Because can you imagine in January when your client calls you and you think it's a pleasant phone call, that they just received a $3,000 added to their almost their $11,000 bill. They've got a $3,000 bill now. So they're up to what, $14,000? They're at $14,000. Do you think that your client's going to be calling you, good morning, hey, how was your weekend? Or do you think it's going to be a sort of a different type of conversation? I think it'll be a different one. He or she is not going to be too upset. Too happy with you. You should know these things because you got to ask these things. So that way there are no hidden surprises. I don't like hidden surprises on anything that we do here. So we want to know everything up front, so that way everything is disclosed. So there is no hidden, surprises. Andre, you had a question?
So in this example, we got base rate, CAM, and sales taxes.
Yeah.
Is there another scenario where triple net gets into
Well,
the
triple net could be the same thing as CAM.
Okay.
They're either going to charge you CAM or triple net, one of the two.
Either or.
Yes, one of the two. We're using CAM as an example.
Gotcha.
It's pretty much the same thing.
Yeah.
Triple net is, it's the common area, the expenses to keep up, what it requires to keep up the actual center itself. Okay, so, but you're going to love how we're going to close this out. And I'm not saying they're going to accept it, but everything's negotiable. Everything is negotiable.
So this would be listed on an LOI if you're the buyer's agent, and then if it's not, you need to
Request an LOI if you're the listing agent.
Yes, if you get the LOI without those numbers, just base rate.
Well, okay, let's say you're the listing agent, and they send you an LOI, which is a letter of intent, which we haven't gotten into yet. Okay, but when you get a letter of intent, as a listing agent, you need to make sure you disclose all that, because obviously the tenant's agent doesn't know what he or she is doing. So you don't want any problems as a listing agent. You want the deal to go through smoothly, acceptable, and then everybody everybody gets exactly what they wanted. The landlord or the shopping center gets the funds they need. The tenant gets the keys to the space and so forth. We want it to go smooth. So again, if you're the listing agent and the tenant's agent forgot to put this stuff in there, and you know the landlord requires it, you need to add it into the LOI.
Like if it's only put in verbiage.
I don't believe in verbiage.
I know.
I believe only in verbiage. Remember what I said? When I arrive there and you are the listing agent, I have my notepad. I'm going to take a couple of notes. We are not going to negotiate it at that point. I'm going to ask you the basic questions that I showed you
What I
here.
meant is in the LOI, it's listed as tenant is responsible for the
Without a doubt.
real estate taxes and property insurance.
Without a doubt.
It's
Without a doubt.
type.
It's going to be signed. An LOI is not binding, guys. You guys don't know what binding means? That I can't hold you to continue. An LOI is just a meeting of the minds, negotiating and letting you know, hey, if you want to rent our space, this is exactly what you're going to pay. Or you might just want to present an offer. Hey, I want to rent your space. This is what we offer. That's called a letter of intent. I want to lease your space, but these are my conditions. And then it could be negotiated back and forth, okay? So now we know what the monthly payment is $10,982.81, okay? Why? Because the Florida taxes are there, the county taxes are there, the CAM is there, the base rate is there. But guys, remember something, okay? Or realtors, remember something. You're not being paid on $10,982.81. You're being paid on the base rate, correct? All right. It doesn't stop there because there's more items that your LOI needs to state, that your LOI needs to read, and it's got to be in writing. So that way the lease is drawn up around the LOI, correct? Because it doesn't stop there. You probably thought, oh, that's it. The only other fee that I'm going to get, is going to be once a year, taxes and insurance once a year, right? In some cases. Nope, not really. Okay, here's a triple net, okay? Triple net, again, same thing as CAM, correct? Or, and you see, what method do you use? You use the same method as this. Same mathematical method, okay? Same one. The only thing you're not calling it a CAM. Here, this is one that I like, all right? We'll go in there and let's say that we're looking, you got the center wants $10,982.81, correct? But my client says it's a little bit over my budget, but I want the space. So what do you guys have to do? You have to make an offer. You're going to have to make an offer. So you're going to make the offer. How are you going to make it? With a what? An LOI, letter of intent. So what I'm going to do is, since my client said to me, Ismael, I want to pay no more than $9,500 a month with everything included. Everything included. So I'm going to send in my LOI at $9,500 per month, and it's going to read like this. See this words up here? All in. What does all in mean? Everything included. So that means that the center, the landlord, whoever owns the property or managing it, has to back it out. From $9,500, they got to back out county taxes, sale taxes, the CAM, they got to back it out. So obviously, they're going to be getting less than whatever the calculation that we used here, $8 a square foot. They're going to be getting $8, a lot less, okay? So all in means we're going to present it like that. So again, this is what negotiations are, all in. Can you do this? Absolutely. You don't know how many times they will accept it. Because in many cases, if you look at a center and there's a lot of vacancies there, that's a pretty good one to do an all in. But if they have very, very little vacancy there, okay, I don't really recommend the all in unless it's, I don't recommend it. But if there's a lot of vacancies there, I think the all in, they're going to accept it. That's how you guys know when to put an all-in or not to put an all-in there, or how long is it has. Let's say it's a freestanding building, right? And it's not a center; it's just a freestanding building. How long has it been vacant? Good time to put an all-in there. Andre, you had a question?
Yeah, with an all-in, so what would be the base rate? It will get.
We'd have to back it out. I'd have to do the math, but it will be less than $8 a square foot. Guess what happens to your commission?
It's less if you do the job.
No, your client asked you to. And we're here to do what? Make sure we help the client. The client's most important, okay? And we want to assist them and help them in every which way that you can possibly think of, because that's probably their budget. They love the location. Again, the unit, the space, the building has been vacant there for the longest time. There's a good chance they're going to accept your all-in. There's a good possibility they'll accept your all-in, you know? But if it's occupied, there's 95% of the building is completely occupied, or 97% of the building is occupied, your chances of getting an all-in is not too good, you know?
What's the most common commission?
Pardon me?
Commission.
We'll get into that in just a sec. Commissions are negotiable as well, too. Okay? But remember at the beginning of this class, what was it that I asked? It was already, and all the items, the first thing that I wanted to know, you know, the base rate and so forth. I said, what's the commission you're paying? That's the first question I'm going to ask the listing agent. Not the first question, because that's going to be so rude. I'm not going to walk there. Okay, so what's your commission? No, sorry. No, I'm not going to do that. You know, what's the base rate? I'm going to ask about the CAM. I'm going to ask about, you know, many things that we'll get into in a couple of minutes. But then again, I will ask about the commission. So the total commission could be 10%, be 7%, 6%, 5%. Okay, how do we split it? 2 and 2, 3 and 3, you know, 4 and 4, 5 and 5. So that's the question that you asked when you first went there, when you first arrived there. And then in many cases, if it's in the MLS, if it's in LoopNet or something like that, it'll state it right there. It'll state, so you'll know what the commission is. Okay? But then what else do you want to ask? Are you going to pay me for the full term, which we'll talk about in a second, or do I get paid every 12 months? See? All this stuff. It's a lot to consume in a very short period. I can't turn you guys into commercial realtors in a matter of what, an hour? Impossible. But you can watch this class over and over and over, and the more you listen to it, the more it sticks. And then the more, when you go to talk to someone, okay, to a listing agent or a management company, it seems like you're a commercial realtor, which you are. You got the license for it. All right. So remember, as I mentioned, there are other fees involved, guys. It's not just $10,982.81. It's not just that. Okay, it's not all centers, correct? It's not all centers. Every single center, every single building is completely different. So must you know these things? Yes. Must you ask these things? Without a doubt. Must you be a commercial realtor? I wouldn't want to be anything else. How do you like that? Why? Because you get paid big bucks. Big bucks. Okay? So what are the other questions we want to ask? All right, sir. Let's say I'm using Andre as the listing agent. Sir, besides the CAM and the taxes and so forth, is my client responsible for their portion of the water? Is the water included? Is my client responsible for the dumpster fee? Is it included? Property sales tax, or is it included? Insurance, or is it included? You got to ask these questions, because if not, your client will have a meltdown. Well, I know they will. Well, no, not all of them. But at least they're not going to think highly of you. Oh my God, I need another realtor. She doesn't.
I think for like business of like car washes, they have to have like different also because of the wastewater. They have to have like different, correct? Permission?
Yes, I mean we've got so many things to account for. We've got health departments, we've got EPA, we got ADA, I mean American with Disability Acts. I mean we've got so much, especially in retail. We need to make sure that someone arrives there and it's ADA compliance. That, you know, someone can go in there, at the, like you said, I mentioned the car wash, they can get off. There are so many factors, but the problem is that I'm giving you guys today a basic class. Because if I really get into a class, we need to order lunch. Last person in. Like that. All right. The menu, please. Okay. So we'll have to order lunch, and then we'll do a second portion to this because it's just too much. I need you guys just to have the basics right now. But yeah, you know, there's a lot. The health department's going to be in there, occupational licensing, the occupational department, the zoning, because there are a lot of areas that people want to put a mechanic shop, and they don't allow mechanic work in there. You know, they don't allow granite work in there. Have you seen granite shops? I mean, that's with a lot of water, and I mean, their parking lots are completely, yeah, when you walk in there, when you walk into your car, you're taking half of the granite shop in your shoes and your car, you know, it all depends. You know, and again, one of the biggest things is at ADA compliance. If the public is going there, that's a huge one. There's so many factors. There's so many factors in commercial real estate, but I promise you guys we'll do another class, okay? And then we're gonna get into those fine details. Right now, I just need you guys to know, you know, the basic stuff. So again, what else are you guys gonna ask? About the dumpster, water fee, dumpster fee. Is that gonna be included? Is that gonna be included right here on the $10,982? Or how about this one? All in. Is it all in? Will it all be included? And then they got to back it all out. Dumpster, water, everything, you know. But all of that needs to be on your what? On your LOI. And then it's got to be on what? On your lease. Okay? So water, sewer, dumpster, you know, it's going to be included in the monthly bill. It's going to be included in the monthly bill. Unless, and I put a big but in there, unless you can propose an all-in. But again, now we know how to go after an all-in, right? If the unit's been vacant for a very long time, if there's a lot of vacancy there, that's a perfect spot to get a good base rate and get a very low cost monthly you know, payment. Any questions on this here that you guys might have? Excellent. All right. Now let's talk about leases. So the lease can be a 3-year, it could be a 5-year. Then, for example, let's just use an example here of a 5-year lease with a 5-year tenant option. Now I'm going to give you guys some pointers here. Okay, every single lease that I try to do them long term. Tenants and people who are opening up their business, when they're opening up their business for the first time, they're petrified. They're petrified. Oh my God, is my business going to make it or not? So they want a 1-year lease. I go, sir, ma'am, folks, seriously, you don't want a 1-year lease. You're going to go in there and you're going to take a space that needs to get completely renovated. You'll spend $50,000 in there. Care for $150,000. Care for $250,000. Care for $500,000. Okay, for a 5-year lease, I don't think so. I need to get that money back, or better said, you need to get your money back. So your investment needs to get it back. Okay, so if you open up a really nice restaurant, and let's say that you spent, I don't know, $150,000 into it, right? The business didn't do well. You've had expenses because you're probably not the best chef in the planet. Okay, I don't know what the case may be. All right, but just say it doesn't go well. Well, what I want the tenant to do and to know is that the longer the lease, the more chances they've got of getting their return back, their initial investment. So imagine if you're a buyer right now, Angela, and there is someone that wants, let's say, $200,000 for the restaurant. And now, obviously, they spent over $200,000. They want to get some of their money back. But there's only a year and a half left on the lease because they did a 2-year lease or a 3-year lease. Do you think they're going to get $250,000 or $200,000 back in a year? Possibly not, unless you're a really fine chef. And then I don't know. So the longer the lease, the more chances you've got on the actual tenant being able to sell their business, right? Sell their business at a much higher a rate. The shorter the lease, correct? Because if you only got a year left there and I can't negotiate that lease, I'm not going to give you $200,000. I'm going to go, I'll give you $50,000. Because at least I can get $50,000 back in 1 year and at least try to make some profit. But I probably can't get $250,000 back, and profit. Are you kidding me? So the long-term lease are really good. And one thing that I tell all of my clients is do not walk away from the lease. Don't let it ruin your credit, okay? Whether it's commercial or residential, come to see me. I will get you out. I will get you out, okay? I will start marketing. I will find someone. If your business starts to not really go well, I will find someone. And then what we'll do is we're going to do a lease cancellation, because you can't lease out one space to two people. Impossible. So what I'll do is I will get a lease cancellation for you if you're the tenant, okay? And once I get the lease cancellation, but also I'm going to bring in a lease to the landlord. And I'm going to present them with the cancellation. I'm going to present them with a brand new lease. So here, the landlord is going to love it because they start all over again. So they're starting a brand new 5-year lease. Landlord's going to love it. And I'm not hurting the landlord in any way. I will explain to him that, this tenant, unfortunately, just can't stay there. But I've got someone paying you probably more. Because as time goes on, and besides, the place has been remodeled inside, do you think there's more value in a place remodeled inside or not? Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So you can get a better return. You can get a higher return when it's remodeled. Unfortunately, that first tenant was the one in there and put the initial investment into it, and he or she's going to take a little bit of a loss, or quite a bit of a loss. But the next person that's coming in is going to benefit. It's going to benefit, and then you're going to be able to ask more for the actual space itself, and the landlord is going to love it. Okay, but you were able to get them back, and as long as the payments have been made on time, and this is what I always tell our tenants: please make your payments on time, because if they're made on time, I can get you your prepaids back. What is a prepaid? A prepaid is security and last month. So you got first month, security deposit, and last month. So the first month has already been used, but you still have a security deposit in there, and you've got a last month. As long as it's been paid, you're going to get it back, because now the brand new tenant that's going to come in is going to come into the new landlord first, last, and security. So they're going to refund you your money back, as long as you're up to date on your payments, right? No late fees or stuff like that, unpaid late fees, I mean. Okay, so big companies like us, I don't do short-term leases. I don't. Can you imagine going into a place, remodeling the place, and then 5 years later, guys, you know that 5 years is nothing. I have to move, and when you move, guess what you lose? Not only everything you invested into the place, but you lose the location and what's called the goodwill. Now, goodwill, you can't touch it, but goodwill does exist. What is goodwill? Okay, goodwill means that everyone knows, or everybody around here locally knows, that Partnership Realty is a real estate office, and it's been here. So if I ever leave from here, another real estate agency will be super smart and going, oh, that's exactly where I want to go. It's known as a real estate agency. It's known as a pizza parlor. It's known as a beauty salon, a barber shop. So now you're picking up, okay, a restaurant. Now you're picking up a medical center. Now you're picking up on the goodwill. People are used to going there because that is a real estate office. So that's called goodwill. You can't touch it, but it does exist. And there's a lot of value to that one, a lot of value. So again, when you go to sell a business, the longer the lease, the more chances you've got of making more money on the business. Let's say that you really create a really good business, and for some reason you want to sell it. Do you think that you can sell a long-term lease and get more money for it, or a short-term lease and asking the same price? A long-term lease. Because for a short-term lease, I don't know if they're going to renew it. I've seen occasions where friends of mine did not do a long-term lease. They didn't listen to me. They do not do a long-term lease. And they remodeled the place inside. Beautiful. I mean, knocked down, bar none. Beautiful. Fancy. Okay? And then, you know, I thought one of the nicest ladies on the planet was not so nice. Okay? Her daughter came in and said, Mom, I want the place. So since there is no renewal, there is a short-term lease, guess what happened? And guess who took over a brand new, beautiful little building? Daughter. Now, that's not nice to do. You know how hard somebody worked to remodel the place, to establish a business there, for you to come in? And I thought this was one of the sweetest little old ladies I ever met in my life. Okay, no more on that one. I'll keep that one quiet to myself. Okay, it does happen. So make sure that you educate your client so this doesn't happen. Okay? So it doesn't happen that the daughter doesn't come in and go, Mom, I want the space. They look at the lease. There's no renewal. There's nothing. Ciao. Right? How sweet that is. Yeah.
If you sell a business plus the lease.
Uh-huh.
Right? Okay.
You know, there's been people that try to sublease the location. It's got to read in the lease that they're allowed to sublease. You know, where they open up two business, like the back portion, it's got to be allowed that they can sublease it or assign the lease. You know, you guys need to know all this stuff. You guys need to read the lease. You know, even have an attorney read it, or just have me read it. I'll look it over for you guys, you know, and so forth. Lease renewal, for you to get paid, has to be in writing, and it's got to be in the lease, okay? Again, you know how strong I feel about long-term leases. I love them. Why? Because I'm actually protecting my client. And I've always been able to get someone out. Always, always, always. Whether it's residential or commercial lease, I've always been able to get them out. So lease periods here. It could be anywhere from 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. How about 99 years? Lovely. There are so many places that will only do a 99-year lease. Imagine you being the realtor on that one. That, you'll be in Spain, you'll be in Europe traveling for how long? So where's Andre at? He's taking 6 months off. Where is he? Send me pics. I want to see what you're doing. Okay? Shopping centers will not sell you their space, but they will lease to the major franchise company. They will lease that space for 99 years. Now, do you think they're going to get the money back? Obviously, they will in 99 years. We'll be dead. They'll, not all of us, but you know, I don't know if we're dead or not. But I came out wrong, guys. None of us will be dead. But someone's going to benefit off of that 99-year lease. Okay? And then once it's done, but see that center that went in there, that business that went in there, they got their initial return back because they just built a brand new building there. And they made a lot of money, and for 99 years. There are so many locations. We are at one of those locations right now. A major franchise company went in there. They did not sell them they didn't sell them the space, the land, but they did a 99-year lease. Okay, so if you guys don't advertise that you're a commercial realtor, and here comes someone from Central, South America, from Europe, they're going to call a realtor that does advertise, I'm a commercial realtor. And guess who's going to not benefit on that 99-year lease? You're looking at your own self in the mirror. Me, I didn't benefit on that one. I should have advertised. I had 54 benches. And everywhere around, Ismael Alvarez, commercial realtor, commercial realtor, commercial realtor. Everyone just keep branding. You know, you have to do it. And nowadays, you don't really need you really don't need the bus benches anymore, because you've got social media. It's free. Blast it. Oh, by the way, is social media free or not? It is free. And you're touching thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of hundreds of thousands of people. So guys, we're in one of the best era there is, okay? So forget the bus benches. but I'm just giving you guys good tips on that. Who prepares the lease? It's not you. You prepare the LOI, the letter of intent, but who prepares the lease? The center does. Every shopping center, their attorneys have already prepared that lease. Now you can go back and renegotiate it. In some cases, they will accept you. In other cases, they won't. Now, something about the lease before we get into it. I'm just going to give you guys a little basic background on this here, okay? Something about the lease. There are places in there, many locations that only look at credit, background, how long the business has been open, but they will not look at financials. They will not look at financials, okay? But there are some places that they will look at financials. So you have to, the business has to support itself to be able to make that monthly payment every single, and they want either 3 years or 5 years back. So this is something really important when you go in there at your first initial visit, correct? With the listing agent. Do you guys require financials here? Oh no, you do? How long? No, just 1 year. Excellent, because my client has only been open for 2 years. Oh, they've only been open for 1 year. No, we want 5-year financials. Do you think that there's any exception on that? You know, if they put down maybe 3 months in advance, 3 months in advance or 3 months security, I don't know, it's negotiable. You know what I mean? Just to try to negotiate it,
If they've never been open and they're buying a franchise.
Pardon me?
If they have never been open, so basically they're opening a franchise.
Franchises are secure.
A personal financial statement?
Well, franchises are completely different. If you can afford to buy a franchise, you're pretty stable. We're talking about someone opening up a cabinetry shop, opening up, just something, a private individual, But for a franchise, you are stable. You've got the capability and the ability to be able to show financials. The franchise itself will show what the profit is. They've already done. They've done everything there. Yeah, you'll be fine with franchises. It's a lot easier.
Yeah, but it's okay to send them bank statement or.
No, you're probably going to really good. Again, you're gonna have to ask the listing agent what they want or management company what they want, and then the franchise company itself will send you all the statistics. They'll show you what is projected to make the year per the area, because franchises have have rights to the area. They won't put like two major franchises one right next to each other. Okay, so they know what their profit and return. And these franchises already done all the analytics. They've done everything. Okay, so yeah, the franchises are a lot different. We're talking, we do franchises, but we do a lot of private ones too. We do a lot of privates. So this is mostly focused on privates, but franchises, they're going to be easy. They're going to be super easy, But then you've got some other companies that come in, and they don't have the proper financials. That's why you must ask these questions up front. Okay, so let's go into your commission. How are you guys going to get paid? So let's say it's a 5-year lease, right? And what's going to happen is, let's just use this same example. The base rate is $90,000, and it's a 5-year lease, comes out to $450,000. But let's say that the commission's only 6%. So you've got a listing agent and you've got the tenants agent, which is you, okay? Or you could be the listing agent. But remember, did we ask what the commission was up front? Because I've only said it about 100 times. Well, I exaggerated. I went from 18 all the way to 100. But anyway, yeah, right? I keep getting bigger and bigger. Next thing you know, 1,000 times. All right, so anyway, we know what the commission is 3%. So what are we gonna do? Take $450,000 and multiply by that 3%, and there's your commission, $13,500. Now you know what your commission is. That's what you're gonna get paid on, But guys, remember something. Some centers will pay the full commissions, and others will not, depending on the amount of the commission. So at the time that the client's going to give the keys, hand in the money, and they're going to give them the keys, what a lot of centers are going to do is they're only going to give you half of the commission. So let's just use an example of a $30,000 commission, correct? Or $40,000. I mean, I've seen them in $250,000 commissions. All right, but we'll just use something simple for now. Let's go to $40,000 commission. What the center's going to do is they're not going to give you the $40,000 up front. No, they're going to give you half of it, 50%. So you'll get $20,000, correct? Now, your client needs to be there per the lease. And it says if the client is there 4 months later, then you will receive your other $20,000, which is the full $40,000, okay? But your client needs to be there. Now, no client's going to go in there, spend $100,000, $250,000, $500,000, and remodeling and decide 4 months later, 3 months later, I'm out of here. I don't think so. So I think your money's pretty secured. But you are going to get paid in two portions. 50% at time of giving the keys, and then the other 50% 4 months later. 4 months later, okay? But you guys have to be on top of it and call the listing agent because they tend to forget sometimes. Hey, how are you? How's your holidays? Excellent. How's your weekend? Okay, do you need an invoice from me? Nope. Okay, my broker is really hounding me. Blame me. Blame my broker's hounding me for those other $20,000. No, I'm not even going to call you. I won't even find out. But it's your responsibility to be on top of that one. I'm not going to call you. It's your responsibility as a realtor to know when you're supposed to get it. So they might ask for an invoice. They might ask for a W-9. The W-9s are going to be right in your form simplicity. All you got to do is date it and send it to them, okay? But you need to know when to ask for it. Now remember, going back again, if they can't pay you the whole lump sum up front, they're going to pay you every 12 months, correct? You guys have to know a month prior to go ahead and send the invoice, or 3 weeks prior, to the listing agent, management company, landlord, okay? This is the other example here that I was showing you guys, that say your commission is, the monthly payment is $7,500 per month, the base rate, and it's split between two realtors. So your commission is only going to be $3,750. So that's what you're going to get at the time that you hand in the keys. But remember, as long as your tenant is there, and some tenants have been there for 20 years, you will get paid every 12-month anniversary, $3,750. Imagine doing 3 or 4 of those a month at $3,750 multiplied by 4. Not a bad July, not a bad August, not a bad September. That's free money that you did what? A year ago? 2 years ago? How about 5 years ago? How about 17 years ago that you leased it out? They've not moved. They're still there. So is commercial real estate a very productive and great line of work for a realtor? You guys? Heck yeah. At least in my book it is. And I'm sure it is now for you guys as well too. Let's talk about an LOI. LOI is called the letter of intent. I know you guys have heard this numerous times today, LOI. An LOI, every single one of them is different. When you go into our form simplicity, I've got an LOI in there. It's just an example, because no two LOIs are identical. They're not identical, because every client's needs are completely different to the other client's needs, correct? So what is an LOI? A letter of intent. What is a letter of intent? An offer. I am making a presentation, a proposal, okay, to the landlord, to the shopping center, and see if we can come together and put a lease together, okay? So again, you do not negotiate. You do not negotiate the terms or the conditions of the lease at first contact. You just take notes down, and then what do? You leave with your client. Then you sit down and you go over everything that we just spoke about. The water, the septic, the sewer, the dumpster, the Florida sales tax. The Florida rental sales tax. Everything, the CAM. You go over everything. Can you get 2 or 3 or 4 months for free for build out? Okay. depending again on the vacancy. If there's vacancy, you can get 3-4 months of free rent, but you have to put it in where? In the LOI. Okay? The first 4 months free for build out. I have seen centers give you an entire year. 1 entire year of free rent for build out. But again, if you don't ask, guess what's going to happen? You're not going to get it. All right? But again, use common sense. If it's a sought after, high demand area, don't go ask for 12 months free rent. They're going to tell you, sir, can you walk with me outside to the parking lot? Close the door. They're going to think you're nuts, you know? But maybe you can get 1 month or 2 months for the build out. You know, you get 2 months. And that gives them enough time. But talk to your client. Sir, ma'am, folks, how long do you think you'll need before you can build this out? You know, 2 months? Great. 60 days? 90 days? Excellent. So let's ask for it. Where do we ask for it at? The LOI. Okay? That's how we're going to ask for it. In writing. And then it's got to be signed by you. Sorry, not by you. It's going to be signed by your client. And then it's going to be signed by the landlord or the tenant as well, too. Any questions on this one here? This is a really important one. Everything, every term, every condition, everything that we just went over, it's going to be in here. And again, remember I told you guys, it's not binding. It's just a meeting of the minds. We're going to get together and see if we can put a deal together or not. But we're not going to do it verbally, and we're not going to do it on a lease either, because the lease that you're going to prepare, that's not the lease they're going to use. Every single center has its own lease already prepared by their attorneys, you know, and so forth, okay? So LOIs are tailored around your client's needs and the landlord's needs. So that's why you need to ask these questions and then bring it all together, and that is the meeting of the minds. And I think I covered like the most important parts of a basic commercial class, okay? I would love to do one very soon with you guys. Next Tuesday we're going to do a class, and it's going to be a mini series class, okay? I'm going to go over about, I don't know, 10 or between 12 to 15 different subjects. These are short classes. They're only going to be about 3 minutes to 5 to 10 minutes each one, because they're not intense like this. This is intense, okay? But they're going to be answering short questions. Short questions. It'll either be that or like a Q&A. We might do a Q&A instead. I'm not sure, but I'll advertise it and I'll let you guys know. Either way, it's going to be a really good class that you guys are going to need to know about certain little things, you know. But I hope that this class has helped you guys that are watching and the realtors that are here present. And thank you guys for being here. Okay? All right. You're welcome.